Hi, let's look at these fractions. Does the second fraction look a little bit strange? 9 parts out of 4 divided parts? Okay, so in this video, we are going to learn about different types of fractions. In our last video, we spoke about the numerator and the denominator. The numerator or the top number represented the parts we have chosen or the selected number of parts or pieces, and the denominator represented the number of parts that whole was divided into, right? We did numerator upon the denominator. The numerator represented the selected number of parts and the denominator represented the number of parts that complete thing was divided into. Supposing I have a rope and I cut it into 7 pieces and I'm using only 3 pieces out of those 7 pieces, then what is the fraction of that 3 pieces? It represents as 3 pieces out of the 7 divided pieces. So out of 7. Now in today's video, we're going to talk about types of fractions. So there are 3 types of fractions. First is proper fraction. Proper fraction is a fraction wherein the numerator is less than the denominator. Such as, let's take this example. In this figure, I have total 5 divided portions and I have shaded 3 portions. So what is the fraction that is represented by the shaded area? Can you think of? Right. It is 3 portions out of, what are the equally divided portions? Correct, which is 5. Now, here in this example, I just had one whole. But what if I have more than a whole? Representation of more than a whole can be represented by an improper fraction or a mixed fraction. Let's understand this by an example. Now here, let's say I have 3 chocolate bars, and out of that 3 chocolate bars, and those chocolate bars, each chocolate bar is divided into 4 portions, and out of all the portions, 9 portions have been eaten. Now, how would you represent the portion of the chocolate that was eaten? That's how we represent an improper fraction, wherein I just don't have one whole. Here I had 3 wholes. So one whole, another whole and another whole. And this fraction when represented in improper form would be represented by the total number of portions that were eaten, which is 9, divided by the number of equally divided portion of each chocolate. For example, in every whole, the chocolate is divided into 4 parts. So the number of divisions of each chocolate is 4. So this fraction would be represented as 9 over 4. And here, in an improper fraction, the numerator is always greater than the denominator. Why? Because we are representing a whole and a fraction part of it. So when added up, this gives the numerator a higher number, and that is why numerator is bigger than the denominator. Now let's talk about a mixed fraction. Now what's a mixed fraction? If I separate the whole part and the fraction part in an improper fraction, that is known as a mixed fraction. So let's say if this same fraction, improper fraction, had to be represented in mixed form, I would say this is one whole and this is one whole. So in total I have 2 wholes and 1 portion, and for this particular chocolate bar I would say 1 portion out of 4 equally divided portions. So this is a mixed fraction wherein I represent the whole separately and the fraction part separately. If I combine them, then we call it as an improper fraction. Now let's look at another mixed fraction example. Here I have, let's say, 3 pizzas, wherein this is one whole pizza, this is another whole pizza, and here I have a third whole pizza which is divided into 3 portions. So can I say that I have 2 whole pizzas and a 1 whole pizza, yeah, and a 1 slice out of 3 equally divided slices, and that is why this is called as a mixed fraction, wherein I have whole number written separately and the fractional part written separately. So if I combine them, that becomes an improper fraction where I'm just talking about the number of portions and not about the whole. Proper fraction was just talking about 1 whole that was divided into equal parts. Yeah, so in today's video we learned 3 types of fractions: proper fractions, improper fractions and mixed fractions. What are proper fractions? When I'm just talking about 1 whole, that's a proper fraction, wherein the top number or the numerator represents the number of parts and the denominator represents the number of parts the whole is divided into. Improper fraction. Improper fraction represents something that is more than a whole. It might be a pizza, it might be a chocolate, it might be 2-3 chocolate bars which have different portions, or it might be a square, it might be a window. So in this example we learned that here we had 2 whole portions and a fractional part. So when represented in improper fraction, the total number of portions that were shaded were 9, and the number of portions each bar is divided into 4. So the number of division is 4, and that is why this is represented as 9/4. What is a mixed fraction? If I write the whole and the fractional part separately, that is called as a mixed fraction. Like in this example we did, which is 2 whole and a 1/3. Because I had 2 wholes and this portion would be represented as 1/3. I hope this video made your understanding a bit clear about the types of fractions. I wish you all the best. Keep learning. Enjoy. Bye-bye.